Fellas, how's it going? Finally, OB21 patch is here and I've been super excited for this for like the longest time. It's been so exciting. I can't wait to get into everything, but I don't think their patch notes are on their website yet. But yeah, we'll get into a game, I'll show off a set and we'll have a really good time today. Fellas, how's it going? Oh my god, sorry, I'm peeking my mic. Eset is here, that's super exciting. Welcome to patch 21 and I'm like super excited for this one. Eset looks absolutely gorgeous, by the way. Oh, that was so unfortunate. I'm here with Charlie today, we'll get back to him in a second, but just in the meantime, I wanted to talk to you about Eset's abilities. I'm scrolling up. So Eset is a magical mage, you know that obviously. She scales with intelligence. That's not how I'm not very good as Eset, so apologies in advance. Right, anyway, her one is this. It shoots out loads of balls, and that's a person god. This is way too chaotic for me to be trying to do patch notes. Bear with. Her one is Wind Gust, right? You shoot 4 projectiles in a line, increases your movement speed. You get no movement penalty while you're in it in any direction, and or strafing penalty, I guess is the right thing. And you're immune to knockback and root. It's really cool. Each projectile grants a stack of invocation the first enemy you hit. That's your 2. That's called Spirit Ball. Sends forth a giant ball of energy while it travels. You can reactivate it to detonate it early, which is what I just did there. Otherwise, it will go forever. Oh my god, Mercury just going N right now, that's crazy. When the ball hits, it stuns and obviously grants a stack of invocation. If you're wondering, your passive is whenever a god dies in range of you, you gain a stack of your funeral rite, which I believe is this down here, and that gives you increased MP5 and HP5 to you and nearby allies. That's HP per second, or per 5 second, I guess. At 5 stacks, oh dear lord. 4 jump scare. Yeah, anyway, at 5 stacks the sex invocation can go up to 5 stacks, and at 10 stacks they stack up to 6 and you gain 10 cooldown rate. Really cool. Her last ability is a free. It's a silence, and it also slows enemies in this circle that we'll try to hit someone with. If you hit your teammate with it, they get a shield, so it's really good if someone like dives on someone. Like that's the silence. Lastly, her ult is a circle protection, which is you cool down a giant circle in the middle, which we'll see in a second. It lasts for 5 seconds before explodes, doing loads of magical damage to all enemies and healing your allies within the range. It's quite good, like for a team fight, especially in like Conquest. You can reactivate it to do it early, which is kind of like her shebang. And while you're standing in the area, you take 30% less damage. I think that's everything. Her aspect is coming soon, and that is super exciting. I can't remember what her aspect does, but I'm sure I'll go over that in the patch notes later. Anyway, I'm going to let this video run out for a bit, and you can just watch the gameplay, the subpar gameplay. I say subpar, I just miss everything. And yeah, I'll catch you in a sec. Fellas, how's it going? Welcome to the patch notes themselves. Woo-hoo. I realised I didn't actually show off the set's ult, so just keep an eye out for that. It's kind of cool. The other thing I noticed is that you can actually trigger her abilities after you've died, which is really cool. So the cool thing is, like, you die and you throw out your 2, you can then press 2 to trigger it. Anyway, I don't need to go into the abilities, I'm sure they've already appeared. We're going to start straight into quality of life and gameplay. We have continued match lobby improvements, adjusted ban, pick audio for easier display, and your turn to pick /ban lighting adjustments. Obviously very minor stuff. I believe they fixed the problem where everyone could ban at the same time, which then led to multiple gods being banned, so that's really cool that they fixed that. Next up we have some, this is probably my favourite bit, and something I'm really excited to see how they do, so we'll go through it together. obviously a minor thing is they've soft reset your ranks in Conquest, so you won't drop below Platinum 3, but you know, people will be dropping down in ranks, which is fine. And I think a reset's fine every now and then, allows people to climb and have a good reset, giving people a chance. You might disagree, I'm not a ranked player, so sorry. Conquest though, this is the huge thing that I'm really excited for. So I'll start here. Conquest has introduced map phases. So you now start the game on normal Conquest, and about after 6 minutes there is a phase called the Moonlight phase. This makes it like night time basically. It's a visual change and it has unique objectives and rewards that we'll get into a second. So yeah, as you can see here, 6 minute mark, and the Moonlight phase starts for 3 minutes before returning back to normal for 6 minutes, and it will repeat until the end of the match. So really cool, really exciting, and hopefully they can do really cool things with it, which we'll get into. During the Moonlight phase, each team competes to gather Moonlight shards. For every shard your team collects, each team member gets +1 gold at the end of the phase. If you collect more shards than any team, you spawn a single wave of Naga lane pushes in all 3 lanes. And if your team reaches the maximum number of 100 shards before the phase ends, you'll be rewarded with a consumable item called the Ritual of the Moon, which I think we'll get into. So it's really cool. It means that farming and prioritising fights in this phase is really important. So it gives us a reason to actually engage during those 3 minutes, and then puts the tempo in that winning team's favour. I think it's awesome. I've been really excited for this. The Moonlight shards, you get each shard picked up adds 1 to your team's total. Shards can be collected from 3 different sources. By destroying Moonlight crystals, they drop 5. By slaying gods, they drop 5. And by controlling the Moonlight ritual site at the centre of the map, which drops 1 per second. This, once again, is so cool because it forces fights down mid, and you know, winning fights and just farming the crystals in general. I'm not sure where they spawn, but you know, we'll have to figure that out. But really, really cool. I'm super excited about this. And on pickup, you get +12 XP and you heal for 1.5 max HP. That's the shards picked up from the ritual site. Do not grant the healing portion. Cool. Number of shards you personally collect is displayed on the buff bar and determines the strength of the ritual, the full moon's buff effect. The Moonlight crystals, they spawn at various locations across the map at the start of the Moonlight phase. These can be attacked or interacted with and drop up to 5 shards. They respawn after 30 seconds. I presume there'll be 1 on every lane. And the Moonlight ritual site is the point in the middle, unlocks after 90 seconds into the Moonlight phase, which is halfway into it. Gain control of the site by standing in it, and while you're under the control, crystals rain down. That's cool. And then the Naga lane pushers are the same guys from before. You spawn with the minion wave. I think they're like the snake type people, and they'll just push out the wave for you. There's the stats on the screen because they don't need to go through that. The Ritual of the Moon is the pickup that you get after you get 100 shards, and it can be stolen after 10 seconds apparently. Picking it up grants the Ritual of the Full Moon consumable item, which can be used to activate a ritual effect for the team on consume. For allies, convert all shards personally carried by your teammates into movement speed for 30 seconds, and grants +5 movement speed buff for each shard, and reveal all enemy gods for 5 seconds, and summon a Star Strike at their location, which is what looks like a new ult by the looks of it. Anyway, that's really cool. I'm really happy with these changes, and I think it's, I've said it before, huge step in the right direction to make the game interesting again, change up the tempo. Hopefully they can add some really cool stuff along with that. So super exciting, super excited for it. Next up we have the god balance changes, and the most exciting thing, which is another big change that I'm excited for, is the new aspect for Cabrakan, or Cabroken if you wanted to call him that, is the aspect of Rotund Juton. This aspect basically turns you into Loki, and is kind of the theme of this update with adding the Fat Loki skin, which we'll get to later. Your Seismic Crush, which I believe is your 1, stealths you and slows enemies instead of stunning, which is Loki's 1. The Refraction Shield, which is your 2, you deal bonus damage instead of a stun, and the Tremors, which is your 3, is a ranged attack that spawns a clone and spawns a vision that deals damage and slowing on the final hit. You teleport to a location before casting your ult, and each walls have less health. This is just Loki's kit, but adapted to be Cabrakan-esque. Super cool. I'm really happy that they're doing fun, interesting stuff. And if this doesn't work, they can change it. They've shown that they're happy to change aspects. So awesome, absolutely cool. And it's cool to see a god that didn't have a skin, didn't have an aspect, get an aspect. So I'm glad we're going back over those. And now I'm going to carry on with some just normal god balances. So Ares Call to Arm has decreased health regen, and he's free. He's Searing Flesh has decreased percentage health damage per tick to minions, making him struggle to clear waves better. That's fine with me. Athena has had a buff. Her 2 has a decreased cooldown, where every time you level it up it reduces by 0.5 seconds. Her wall, which is the shield wall, has a decreased cooldown to be a flat 12 seconds rather than scaling down. And her ult increases the shield health by what looks like 150 base, and then it scales by 25 rather than scaling by 50. So that's cool. Next up we have a Wheelix, a Summon Suku, which is her 1, has a 15 damage increase, and her ult has a decreased cooldown to scale down by 5 seconds. I quite like those changes where we get scaling. I think they're interesting, where it gives you a reason to upgrade some of the ults, I feel. Fenrir's had a fix, his Aspect of Loyalty, his new aspect. Receiving How To, it's just had it, so it applies to the buff to the gods. Yorm has had, your Mungandr has had a minor change. He has decreased base in-hand power from 30 to 24, and his increased per level in hand has been gone from 3.3 to 4. He's passive and movable, increased his max health scaling by 2%, and his Venomous Haze, which is his 1, has a decreased cooldown by 2 seconds, and scales to 0.5 rather than 1. See how this goes. I'm not sure if people have problems with Yorm. I still find him just very farmable, is my take. Nuwa's had a nerf. Her ult now only procs items 50% of the damage rather than what it was before. I've seen that people were getting one shot late game by Nuwa in Conquest, like all the squidgy guys. So sure, I'm glad it's not exploitable. Ra's had a buff. His Divine Light, which is 2, has had an increase by 15 damage, and he's 3, has increased protections by 5. Next up we've had Sun Wukong, who's had a nerf. A lot of people were saying that I believe he's actually really good at mid at the moment, surprisingly. He's 1, his Magic Cudgel has had decreased intelligence scaling from 75 to 70%, and his 2's intelligence scaling has been reduced by 10%. His Aspect of Transformation, Undefeated Body passive, these thresholds no longer provide protections, and he's 3, 72 transformations, decrease the Eagle cooldown reduction. So that was just for his aspect. Last up, another nerf that people were quite excited for is Sheba Lunkaze has a nerf. His Dead of the Night passive has decreased stacks from his physical or strength stack is down from 4 to 3, his intelligence stack is down from 6 to 5, and the strength per threshold is now 10 to 7, and intelligence is 15 to 10. His 2 has once again had decreased scaling from 35% to 30, and his aspect has decreased subsequent dark damage from 60% to 50 while his aspect is active. Next up we got some Moonlight items, which I think are changes to previous items, but they now have an effect that is basically just during the Moonlight phase. So the Helm of Darkness has had a new effect that while the Moonlight phase is active, you get well stealth, you get plus 15% movement speed, you can pass through enemy gods, and physical damage equal to 15% of your max HP. Screeching Gargoyle has also had a Moonlight phase thing where it hits enemies around you and silence lasts 1.5 seconds and minus 15% protections. And the Reaper is during the Moonlight phase, hit enemies below 50% health, 1 stack of 5%, max for last 6 seconds, and the Reaper stacks are not lost on death, so that's cool. Next up we have a new item called the Eye of Erebus. It's 2,600 gold, it gives you 200 health, 15 cooldown rate, and an adaptive stat which is either 35 strength or 50 intelligence, and it's an active where you spawn a watchful eye on use, Enemies that enter the range, it fires a seeking projectile at. Here's the stats for you, and it's got a 60-second cooldown. But during the moonlight phase, each time you deal damage to a god with it, the cooldown is reduced. So very cool, good tempo, and I guess that would be a very good control item for that middle point that you're trying to protect during the moonlight phase. And next up we got Chandra's Grace. It's 2,300 gold, a nice mid-game early item with 350 health, 20 cooldown rate, and every 30 seconds the lowest health ally within 8.8 meters of you gains health regen, mana regen, and 0.2 seconds of cooldowns every 0.2 seconds for 4 seconds. The buff lasts 4 seconds, and during the moonlight phase you also gain the buff. I guess that's very cool for support type roles. Next up we have Shebalban's Effigy, Shebalan. That's 2,750 gold, quite an expensive item. It gives you 30 physical procs, 30 magical procs, 300 mana, 4 mana regen. On use you take 50% damage for 4 seconds. After you take physical damage equal to the mitigated damage, but you can't drop below 5 HP. And during the moonlight phase, only 50% of the mitigated damage is dealt back to you. This is a really cool item, allows tanks to sponge hits, get out. I can see also being good on like the bruisery assassin type builds where you can run in, you can activate it, you can explode, because it's basically an Aegis really, and then get out, a half Aegis I guess is the word, and get out and then take the damage and heal up. So someone who's got good escapes and good movement would be very good. I presume someone like Sir Ket, I don't think she's in the game yet, but you know, I can see that sort of thing. Anyway, moving on, we're just going to go over the slight balance changes to existing items. Ansal's had a buff, increased the HP from 200 to 250 and decreased cooldown from 80 seconds to 70. Arondite has had a buff, increased strength from 50 to 55 and decreased cooldown from 75 seconds to 60 seconds. Brawler's Ruin has had a buff, it's had a changed recipe, but it's decreased physical procs from 20 to 15, added magical protections, decreased physical procs from 25 to 20, and added magical protections. Death Metal has had a buff, decreased the cost by 100 gold, increased the active crit chance by 15% to 25%, and fixed the description. Next up we got the Necronomicon has had a shift. A passive, this item now has 6 max stacks, each providing 30 intelligence. Dying causes you to lose 4. This no longer reduces protections with stacks. And lastly we have the Talisman of Purification has had a buff, increased magical procs, increased max health, and decreased the cooldown by 40 seconds. And that does it for the balance changes so far, which is really cool. I'm super happy with this update. I'm sure I've said it a lot, so but that's it. That's everything I've got apart from the skins. I've really struggled for a bit because apparently in the patch notes the Voidworm skin's been made a traveller, but I couldn't find it, so that's why I jumped to this Hercules skin. There's also a really cool Boo Buddy and Reaping Teleporter effects, which is about to appear on the screen. I'm super excited for this update. I hope you guys are super excited for this update, and I hope you've enjoyed watching, because after this I'm gone. Thank you. I'm gonna need to play some Eset. Thank you for watching though. It's really cool, it's been really fun, and I'll catch you next time, boys. See you later.